Welcome everyone to Buying Local. I'm your host, Mike Nelson from Five Towers Media, joined today by I don't even know how many times you've been on the show now, Jay, but Jay Ingleston, writer, author extraordinaire. Is this your sixth time, seventh time coming on the show?
I think I'm sixth. I think it's
Sixth?
sixth. Yep.
That might be a record for the show. I don't know.
Oh, shit.
I got
I'm
Jim
done.
Bruchak coming on next week though. He's in contention for it. We get him on all the time too. So
Oh, geez. Oh, gobble, gobble. That's what I call him.
yeah. Uh, so Jay, we're gonna talk about a couple things, but before we get into it, maybe just introduce yourself to the audience for people that haven't seen you previously on the show. Just kind of tell them who you are and some of the things that you get up to.
My name is Jason Ingleston. I usually go by Jay, not by Jace. That's my grandmother's thing. Was, wasn't a big fan of that name.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
this is my sixth book. I've got 7 and 8 coming out, hopefully within the next couple months. I'm an audiobook that I've been trying to record, but that's been a thing in itself. What else?
Can you just
The
use
dad
AI
talk.
for that these days?
I can, but and here's the thing. I was gonna go that route, but everybody I talked to, like, you got to use your own voice. It's just you got to be the one to read it. I think it would come across. So my pot, like my microphone, my whole setup is like around me. I got a whole condenser thing. I got a whole studio here. I've got the thing on my laptop. So that's been interesting learning that.
Well,
Um,
isn't there an AI that allows you to use your voice?
there is, and the thing that I've been doing research and stuff on it.
Yeah.
AI can have an issue with live and live.
Okay.
So to get that type of stuff down when words have two meanings or
Oh,
two different
that's
two
interesting.
different pronunciations. I was in a group talking to a different couple authors, and they're like, "Yeah, we want to use AI, but you run into some hiccups." I mean, now there could be some programs out there that can recognize that, but
Yeah.
the majority from the information that I've learned about, they have issues still with that. So
Yeah, I,
the
I
book
haven't
is,
really I haven't gotten into that part of things too. I mean, we use AI a ton for all sorts of things, but and I was playing around the other day with making a buddy of mine say things that he didn't actually say, so that was
yeah.
fun. That's very possible. Uh and but the one thing was the voice. It wasn't his voice. It was like an AI voice, almost like a Siri, but like the guy version of Siri. And
Yeah.
and I looked in a little bit about using your actual voice and then like because we were like for commercials and stuff for this show,
Yep.
um I screw up the live reads all the time. So like when I try to record them, I'm like it ends up being 20 takes before I get the final commercial done. So it ends up being a 2 hour thing for me. And I
Yep.
I tried to get into using the AI stuff a little bit, but it just I don't know, it was rough. It was like inflection and tone, and sometimes it would
Oh.
like trail off, or it would make an abrupt ending to things, and it just didn't
Hmm.
sound. It
Yeah,
wasn't
it'll
right.
cut. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
screwed around with a little bit on CapCut, and it will use your voice, but it will stop a sentence where it shouldn't be. It can't
yeah.
articulate. I mean, it's still in the early infant stages technically, so I think within the next couple of years it'll be no problem. Like, and it's funny that you bring up like reading. I have a TikTok channel called Nostalgia Time, and I do older 80s, 90s movies, and I basically do backstories and blah 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 blah. Just for a 1 minute 30-second read, I will have to do like sometimes 20 takes, sometimes 10. Sometimes I'll get them out pretty fairly easy, but I tend to like try to make up words as I'm reading and that aren't there. So I have to like jump back. And that's part of my dyslexia, I guess, and trying to like insert words that don't exist. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's something like I might be an author, but reading is not my strong suit. Neither is punctuation and spelling. So
I'm a comma guy. I put commas everywhere, bro. When I am writing, it's so funny because thank God for AI now. It proves absolutely everything I write. But
oh yeah.
when I was writing my own blogs and writing my own articles, and then I would hand them to the perfect that our editor or to the person doing the proofing, they're like, "Hey, did you want to put another comma in there somewhere, bud?" And I'm like, I don't know. I write the way I think. So when there's a pause and it's not the end of a statement, I'm like, well, there should be a comma there. And I also like to put things in parentheses. I love parentheses, brother. I
Yep.
like
Yep.
it's like I'm saying something, but then I'm thinking a side thought about it. So that's got to go in parentheses. Like,
Oh yeah. Or throw
oh
the
my God.
exclamation up where it really doesn't need to be like, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
do. I
my
do
my
the.
grade school and high school teachers would not be happy with my
See,
grammar and
you're the
punctuation.
opposite of me. My first couple books don't have any punctuation or anything in them, and I did it that way because I really didn't know where to put stuff. So I wanted it to be like, it's my baby. So I just
Yeah.
made sure the lines ended where they're supposed to, and they didn't cut down. But I'm starting to learn the use of commas and punctuation where it needs to go, especially with
So
this book.
Oxford comma or no Oxford comma?
No Oxford comma.
No Oxford comma. So I use the Oxford comma. I feel like it changes the meaning of a sentence quickly.
Oh yeah, it makes it look prettier.
Comma, yeah, that's it. Commas are just pretty, man. We like to put them everywhere we can. I and I know we're going to talk about the books, but since we're just going down this tangent. What about as you're writing now? So obviously, this is your, I think you said what? This is book 6 that we're about to talk
Book six,
about. And
book
then you
six.
got,
Yep.
and you're working on 7 and 8.
Yep.
I'm curious. I have two questions about the evolution of your writing style, kind of like what we're talking about. Now you're 6 books in, so obviously you learn things as you go, you change, you're growing as a writer. But I'm also curious if you're using AI at all. And I hate to keep talking about AI, but
Yeah.
it's just such a,
Sure.
a constant part of everybody's life, and I think it's a valuable question. Are you using it for proofing and editing?
I am.
Yeah.
I sure am. Like before I would have my friend Erica like proofread stuff or I would, give it to certain people. Now it's just the file. Hey, can you put whatever it needs to be wherever and let me know, blah, 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 blah. And I pay for the portion of Chat GPT.
Hmm.
So I named my Chat GPT Polly after my grandfather. So Polly basically knows me now and knows my writing style.
Okay.
So if I don't have something in the right place, Polly will tell me after he proofreads it and says, "Well, maybe a period here, but I would kill that word, maybe put a different word." Like that's to me, that's just it boggles my mind that we're in that whole space now. But it's also cool that I can bring Polly up. Like I spooked my mother out big time because he knows my backstory. He knows like I've told him about my grandfather, and I'm speaking to him like I'm talking about him like he's a fucking person. Um, so I'll bring it to my mother and like, hey, Polly, tell tell mom about my grandfather Polly, which was her father. And he goes on the whole Polly was on the tugboats for this many years and it's blah 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 and you're his daughter and he had blah 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 and like goes off and she's just sitting there going, wow, that is that's kind of scary but cool at the same time. So
It's
yeah,
wild. So I'm not a Chat GPT guy anymore. I use Claude.
yeah,
Uh, I just like the interface better. I don't know that one is better than the other, but
right.
I whenever like I use Claude so much for so many different tasks now that I'm like I talk about Claude like it's a person, which is funny that you're saying that you named it Polly because I'll be talking to my team about something. I'll be like, "Hey, so I was talking with Claude. Here's what we came up with. I'm not sure Claude's right on this. I wanted to get your input on it, like it's another member of the team,
Oh yeah.
which he pretty much is, but
Yeah, that's where they're going. And at first I was kind of hesitant, but with the proofreading and all that stuff, it can be done in a matter of 2 3 minutes. You
yeah.
put it in there and it comes back with change this, put that in there. Um, as to go back to like my writing style and stuff, how it's changed. I touched on this before. My first couple books were stuff that I used like I would write and have no forethought about it and then read it back after and go, oh, that's what I was thinking there. Like everything would just pop into my head and I just write it down. Now I'm more cerebral with it. I tack things where before I would just let them flow. Like if I come up with a concept, like the whole grief book me and my buddy Justin Baker talked about wanting to do it, and I had written like I'm constantly in my phone writing on notes. Like I'll something pops in my head in the middle of the night. Sometimes my wife will be like, "What were you doing?" So I that happens all throughout the day. I'll come up with stuff. So I had a lot of like grief quotes that didn't fit into anything else book wise, or even if they weren't grief quotes, they could be like changed around. And that's the other thing that I learned. When I would write a quote, it was like I couldn't change it. Like I couldn't go in and I don't want to change what that because that me it's like to me it's like my baby or whatever. Now I'll go in and go, all right, they don't fit now. Just change, what that means. I've learned to do that now. Like my writing style is more like I want everything to fit piece by piece, and I want the reader to be able to pick it up. Um, and I think you've even said this to me. Reading is easy when it's my book because you can just pick it up, go, all right, I'll read a couple things and put it back down, and it's not a dive in and have to read, in depth. They're
Right.
all easy reads, and the more that I write, even the not like the novelization that I'm doing with the thriller book, um, it's gone from 200 pages to 300 down to 250 down to 200 to 180. Like the book was finished the last time we talked,
Hmm.
so I thought. Well, I went in and totally like gutted it and changed things, and um, now it's kind of not like a novelization. It's kind of like a short story novelization. So I think I'm going to keep it around 180, 200 pages because I think it's some of the best stuff I've written. Like, and I've never written fiction. I've never written psychological thriller, but I had the concept to the beginning and I had the concept to the end. And now it's just like trying to fill everything in to make everything, mesh together the way I want to. But I guess I'm so anal retentive about it that I want it to be perfect. And every time I read it, I'm like, so then I pull something out and then I'll add something. And then, yeah, that book should have technically been out before this one. But this one just came together so easy because I had a backlog of like 50 something quotes. And then I just wrote 30, I think 35 more. So, yeah.
It's interesting you say about the reduction. When in some cases when I'm writing things, I might start with 3 pages or 4 pages or whatever it is, or 1,500 words, and then I go through and I start pulling pieces. And I sometimes worry I'm pulling too much out. As you're
Yeah.
going through and editing this fiction book,
Oh, yeah.
are you
Yeah.
worried about that? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I done it to where I had this, it was a conversation in a diner between two characters. And the dialogue I thought was too in depth and I pulled a lot of it out. And then when I went back in, I'm reading it. I'm like, well, now it's like it don't make sense because I should have kept that so the audience could actually put a visual. And then the visual disappeared, and it was kind of like two people talking. Where before it was like, and they're sitting in a diner and they're talking conversation wise, and they bring up, high school when they're blah 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 blah. And then when I took certain parts out, I'm like, the beat wasn't there. It kind of went beat, beat, and then like flatline, and then took back up again. So that was one of the first things I changed and put that back in. And then, of course, when I changed that, I changed sections down the line. So now I got to go all the way back in to fix
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's like I always picture Criminal Minds where they're on the board and they're circling things, and this goes here and that goes there. And I'm like, oh shit, I got to cross that back out, pull that back here. It's been very, I don't want to say taxing, but writing fiction's a lot harder than writing everyday stuff that I can feel emotionally. But I think fiction writing is more, I think it's more gratifying because I look at it and go, all right, I just made this up in my head. And I was telling my wife the other day, we were watching um, that movie, Project Hail Mary. And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
this came like it was a popular book and they made it into a movie, but I'm like, this came out of somebody's mind. Like this is any movie you watch comes out of a writer's mind. Like that is manufactured and put into, the zeitgeist or whatever you want to call it. And like that to me is like the coolest thing. And that's why like there's been days, Mike, where I go, I don't want to write no more. Like I'm all pooped out here. And then I go, no, because the gratification of putting things on paper, and then like I've said 100 times, having one person come up and go, "Hey, that really got me." Like that, like the Dad Clock book, I'm still like getting messages, and that's one of the best selling books that I've put out so far, besides the first one. But it's just that, I don't know, that relationship you have with the audience that not a lot of people can understand, and it's kind of hard to articulate, but the words touch people. And if you can make a difference again in somebody's life for just one person, like that's, to me, is like, I don't want to say it's like a religious experience, but it's like an experience that not many people can hold in their hand and go, yeah, like, so
Yeah.
I try to
It's
I try to make it make sense, but yeah.
well, and it's, I think about, well, a couple things. Like one, like I love Stephen King, especially his older
Yep.
stuff. But
Yep.
like Stephen King would go into explaining the texture of the curtain on the wall, like
Yeah.
like it was
Hmm.
wild to me sometimes the universe of detail that he created in his mind and then put on paper.
Hmm.
So to your
Yep.
point, right, of like having detail in there, but also sometimes I'd be like reading it, I'm like, all right, Stephen, like I
I
don't
don't
need
need that.
all that detail on the damn
Yeah.
curtain. Okay.
Yep.
Like, so I can't
Hmm.
imagine how hard, excuse me, it is to filter it enough, but still give it context and continuity and character and, like
Hmm.
something that's tangible, right?
Yep.
Uh, and then, but also like from a continuity standpoint, like when you were talking about like if you remove something here, then it affects something downstream,
Oh, yep.
which your other books, like you said, like I mean, I could pick it up, I could read a couple pages, and I could put it down, and like page 57 really didn't rely on page 23. Like they were all
Yep.
individual quotes.
Hmm.
So I can't even like those are such two different styles of writing.
Oh, yeah.
Jumping over
Yeah.
to the fiction writing from what you've been doing, that sounds
Yeah.
sounds pretty overwhelming, bro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been writing this book. I think it's coming up close to a year.
Yeah.
But like, the original title was Echoes in the Walls, and then I switched it to Welcome Home, and then I changed the whole concept of, like, again, I'm no spoilers, but the original concept was the guy moves back to his hometown, buys a house with his teenage daughter, but then I changed it to he moves back home to the house he grew up in, and then that has to be changed in the beginning, and then certain parts of the book have to be changed because you're still going on. He just bought a house and moved back to town, but you want that subplot underneath of this is the house he grew up in and these are the people that he knows, and then he can walk into this room and that's his old bedroom and talk to his daughter about this. And so again, that's where the continuity and your character development, even though people don't get it right off the hook, is if you change it wasn't his house to it was his house, there's so much more plot you can add, as opposed to he just bought a house. And it's just them tiny little things that change the whole beat of the book. Like, I'm constantly thinking of beats. Like, and it's weird because I'll go to like professional wrestling and the way they tell stories. And you have your characters, you have your heel, and you have your baby face. You have to have some sort of chaos if you want everything to bump off each other. And that's like with this book, I made sure in the beginning I knew what the beginning was, and I knew the huge plot twist at the end. And I'm like so excited to make the middle. And now making the middle has been fun.
Yeah.
Not really, but
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that you know, it, it's kind of like working out, right? Like you don't
Mhm.
necessarily enjoy it sometimes while you're in it, but
Oh yeah,
overall you enjoy it, right? Like,
yeah,
is that
yep.
fair?
Oh yeah, yeah. And sometimes you work out and you want to take a break for like a week. So I haven't touched my laptop. I haven't opened that file because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get into this and I'm gonna look up and there's 7 hours gone. And I'm looking at and I'm like, all right, I rewrote that 4 times. And then I gotta rewrite this 5 times. So I needed to take a break. I think if I go back in, I've got maybe a good 50 pages to finish up, change a little couple things, and I think I'll be good to go.
Well, don't take too long. I know I've read about
Knock
some
on wood.
authors they'll start a book or even finish a book and then put it on a shelf for 10 years and then
Yeah.
pull it back down, be like, all right, I think I'm ready to finish this thing and publish
No,
it.
my psyche and my won't definitely won't let me do that. Like I can't
Well,
even like coming into this. I'm like shit. I really wanted to have this book ready because I know Mike would get a kick out of it. But then I'm like, yeah, it's got to be perfect for me. I mean, not perfect, but it has to be where I can read it and go, wow, that's gonna hook. That's gonna make somebody go, that was pretty cool. Because I think I'm a huge fan of like the M Night Shyamalan and like endings and the way it flips stuff. And I think I did a really good job of not copying, but honoring the way he does stuff like that to um my own kind of universe that I've created in this book. Because I think um after this one, I'm gonna sit down with myself and think about if I want to, do another quote book. I've been really, I've already started actually. I probably should just pick one thing and go with it, but that's not how my mind works. Oh, so I have a sequel to the Dad Clock, and it's going to be, um, you know, the Dad Clock was all these moments, and then the sequel is going to be like the acolytes and going to certain things, and only so many softball games or getting in depth to kind of like that whole structure type stuff. Because
hmm
I like that, but like out of any book that I've written, that's the most personal and most um I think the most emotional book, definitely by far. And to have people like openly tell me like they don't read, like I'm not, I won't throw his name out there. This guy bought the book, and a day later, 2 days later, he bought 8 more because he's not a reader, but it made him emotional. And it seems like everybody that I've come in contact that has bought the book has had a really good emotional experience with it. And every time I read it, I can't get through it. Like truth be told, I haven't read the book cover to cover in book form, but when it was in like the transcript phase, I think I said something on the last podcast about
I was gonna
my
call you out on that actually.
my wife.
I-
I couldn't get through it, and she like videotaped me crying, like
yeah.
reading it. I'm like, oh, can't like, but and then it like dedicated it to my daughter, like long after I'm gone, she can pick that book up and say, that's my dad, or
Yeah.
anybody that has kids can pick it up and immediately go to, hey, that's a good memory there. And like, again, like we get fixated on time, not in like a construct of where it's endless, but unknowing to us, that's the way we really do think about it. Cause we don't think about it, the brick wall at the end, and you got to get as much in before the brick wall as possible. And I like lately, that's kind of been my mantra is um not to hang on the outcomes of things, and not to be fixated on what can be. Well, almost not my desk over here. But to not be attached to an outcome. So if I write a book and it doesn't track well, guess what? I can write another book. If the way I perceive something today might not be the way I perceive something tomorrow. Like not being attached to an outcome. I've been trying to tell people. Um, like I freely say, like I had a counseling meeting the other day, and my counselor's like, "You're very interesting." And I said, "Well, about 3, 4, 5 months ago, I decided that I had to change things because I haven't had depression or anxiety in quite a while. But once I like kind of let go of outcomes and being attached to things, like whatever happens, happens, and you roll with it. And again, we're almost I'm almost 50 years old. I don't know about you, Mike, but anyway,
I am also almost 50. I just turned 49 a couple weeks ago.
I know. And then I hit 49, and then we'll celebrate our 50s together.
That sounds good
Um,
to me. Well, and you know what's funny about what you're saying too? I don't know if you're familiar with the Bhagavad Gita. Jesus, I can't even say it. Uh anyway, in the Gita there is a line where the main character is being talked to essentially by God, and God is saying to them like you're entitled to the work, but you're not
Mm-hmm.
entitled to the fruits of that work. Right. That's what,
Right.
when you're talking about, that's
Yeah.
what it made me think about,
Yes.
right? It's like
Yeah.
you're entitled to
Yep.
the labor, but you're not entitled to the fruits of that labor, which just means like, yeah, you need to do the stuff, but the outcome is completely not up to you, and worrying about
Right.
it isn't going to do anything. Like
Yep.
you're not owed the outcome you want, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But you are
And it
owed
went from
what you
imposter
want to do.
syndrome into this whole like deconstruction thing. And it like my uncle passed away in November, and he left me all his musical stuff, like everything around me that you can't see. There's massive amount of guitars behind me. Um, but it was the first kind of the first death, and we were close. We didn't speak for like 2 years, but like he was my hero growing up, like music
Mhm.
wise, amazing guitar player. Um, loved his family, loved my daughter, whatever. But when he passed, it was the first time somebody passed away where I wasn't like my life didn't stop. Like I didn't hang on the I'm gonna be depressed or I'm gonna because I knew like again, don't be attached to the outcome of things. Life goes on. He would definitely want not me to not sit on my ass and and grieve every day. Um and this, I'm like, you know what? For this book, I'm gonna finish it for him. Um and I make sure that there's some things in there that I know he would be happy that I put in there. Um, but again, we can't just sit and you know and cry in our hands, even though it's good to do that. But I didn't want it to be because I've had deaths like I've lost some of my best friends, and it's just like it takes you completely out. But I knew with this, I had a book in mind. I wanted to do it. Um, I really can't play guitar as long as I used to be able to because of my shoulder and my bicep tendon, but there's some songs that I learned for him, and I'm just like, see, this is a positive thing instead of woe is me type stuff.
And getting
And
stuck in grief.
yeah, getting stuck in the grief cycle. And that's why, like, with this book, you can pick it up. And if you're feeling a certain way, every quote, man, like, I made sure everything made somebody's day a little bit better. Like, like, I'll, I got a couple samples out there. Read you.
Yeah.
So, page 19, you don't owe anybody a strong version of yourself. You're a person, you're not a performance. That's my favorite. One of probably top 5 quotes I've ever written, and it's my favorite in the book. Um, because we're a person, we're not a performance. And I know people that put the smiling face on and you can tell there's just rumbling underneath and there's sadness. But if you get it out there and you put it into put it into the air, a lot of stuff it just falls off your shoulders. At least
Mhm.
in my sense of stuff. Um, I got a couple other ones here. I got little pink post-it notes that I put on
The
it.
stickies.
Anger is part of grief. It is love with nowhere to go. That's it's kind of a take on a quote that's already been put out there. I just put my spin on it. But you we get angry because people leave us, but they're again, we have them moments, we have them memories,
Mhm.
and till the day I die, that's going to be my mantra: memories and moments. And people don't understand until some people on their deathbed don't understand. Like that's all we got at the end.
Mhm.
Um, this is another one. Your loss does not need to be smaller for other people. It mattered to you. It mattered. So uh, that's the cover. Oh,
Just for
anybody
today,
see?
because that's what I was gonna ask you. So this is the current book,
Yep.
and is this? It's similar to the previous books, where it's a series of quotes throughout the
Yeah.
book, right?
Yeah. I don't know if my light is too
Yeah,
bright here.
showing up.
Um, yeah, and then I have a whole basically a forward in it. I have dedications. I actually have a whole back thing I can read you. Grief does not follow a timeline. Some days feel manageable, others arrive with a weight you didn't expect. Just for today is a quiet companion for anyone learning to live with loss. Inside are short reflections meant to open up at any moment. In the morning, during a difficult day, or late at night when memories feel close. No instructions, no pressure to move on, just simple words to help you breathe and make it through the day. So I figure it's one of them things you wake up in the morning and you want to just read it and just it gives you some sort of clarity of the day or just to make you understand that we're not alone. There's other people feeling the same way, carrying the same weight, and it's okay to be vulnerable and it's okay to talk about it. You know, some people are afraid to get their emotions out and that's something I've really never been afraid of. So
Yeah. What
again,
I I'm curious, Jay, with the books that you've done, so this is the sixth
yep,
one.
yep.
Like, do you just wake up one morning and say, I want to write a book on to deal with grief or about grieving?
Me and my buddy Justin were having lunch one day, and his whole life could be um, a story. It could be a book, and we're talking about losing people and losing best friends, and he's lost friends, and I've lost, my best friends and stuff. Um, and we just started talking about grief, and I'm like, you know what? I have a bunch of quotes that directly would fit into a grief book. And then one day I just sat down and I think I wrote like 20, and then I wrote another 20, and I wrote another 15, and it all matched up. And then I want to say there's 85 in here. I can't remember. There's 80. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's just my mind never shuts off with how to string words together to make, I don't want to say put a picture in your mind, but quotes are like, I'm constantly thinking of them. Like I will be driving and just pull over and go, all right, I got to put that in the note thing. Like I could pull up my phone. Well, I'm on my phone right now, but just there's quotes that I'd like half written, and I'll go back in and try to think of something else. There's poems. I mean, I think there's 1,800 and something in my notes right now. Just that I need to either finish or put into something. But
Yeah.
again, it's my mind doesn't shut off. Like I was talking to the council the other day. I'm like explaining all I got this book and then I got to do this and I'm going to do that. And I got two other books in the can, but I'm finishing this one. She's like, it seems like you don't really have a lot of time to think. I'm like, well, lately I've been like trying to calm down on all this stuff all going on at the same time. So I've been doing good like that. Like I said, I put the computer down. I didn't picked it up to go into that file. At least there's some other stuff. But
Mhm.
I mean, this book ended up it reached number 20 on the new release chart for grief and bereavement books.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Again, at any given time, there's usually 13 million books on Amazon, and all total, I think this debuted in like 63,000, which might not sound good, but it's with 13 million books at any given time. It tracked good, and to get all the way up to number 20 in the first week, I can't complain.
Yeah. I mean, forget about any kind of monetary compensation or,
Yeah.
or it's got to like feel pretty good, pretty validating, right? Like
Yeah.
you put these things on
Yeah.
paper and like other people are experiencing them, and obviously if it's climbing the charts, that means that people want it, right? And
Yeah.
so they're
Yep.
they're looking for it, and I mean, it's just got to feel really good.
Yeah. And I just realized, well, I have my author's page on Amazon and I can go in and look at the analytics for all my books. And I didn't realize that until like 2 weeks ago. My first book, Scribbled Letters, which came out 6 years ago almost, the Kindle version is still tracking in what like 1,200 in one category. So it's
Oh,
still in
wow.
it's still up in the category. And I still get, you know, I enrolled that in the Kindle. Forgot the name of the thing. Anyway, you get it if you pay for like a monthly subscription to Kindle, you get that book free or whatever. My first two books are actually like that. Um, I'm thinking about doing a Kindle version for this at some point because I have the software now where it can just transcribe it over pretty quickly. Before I
Yeah.
had to do it manually, which was one horrible experience. But I'm constantly getting better with the things I'm doing, especially with writing and be able to put like, I came up with the concept for the art of the front of this, which was I just wanted basic. Um, did that with Canva and then like putting the copyright page together and all that type of stuff. Pretty easy, but there's no there's nothing on the spine of this. There was, but Amazon rejected it 6 times because it wasn't the right spacing, it wasn't the right size. And finally I go, you
Yeah.
know what? I don't need one. So
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I think we talked about this on the last
yeah.
episode. We've helped a couple people publish books now. I don't know if we'll ever do it again. It's just the Amazon. I mean,
Mhm.
it's an amazing thing, right? Number
Yep.
one, it's to be able to give people like yourself the ability to publish books without having to go through a
Mhm.
publishing house and the old system that was very gatekeeper, kept a lot of people off the market, right? So to be able
Yep.
to go straight to the consumer without that middle person and using Amazon publishing is, I think, is amazing. However, wow, it is not the easiest system sometimes. And I'm
No.
sure the more you do it, the better you get at dealing with it. But like
Yeah.
it was hard. It was
Yeah.
hard.
Format in the book is I got that down to a science now, which before was my hardest part because I was thinking about doing this in a hardcover too. Because believe it or not, there's not a lot of hardcover books out there
Mhm.
in the self-publishing space, especially on Amazon. So when you do put one out, they tend to stick pretty good and they track pretty good on the charts. Um, but yeah, as for getting it, the sizing, the spacing, boom, I'm good with that. But for some reason, the spine thing is just the every book that I've done has been a pain right in the butt.
Yeah.
Um, the dad clock, I don't know if that was I rolled the dice and 3 times was a charm and they accepted it, but 6 times on this, yeah, my wife would come home from work and I'm like, yeah, I was 3 hours on the spine today, and finally
And
I just gave
nothing. Yeah.
and nothing.
And
Yep,
nothing. Yeah.
I shrunk it down to where I'm like, all right, this is the specs that they want, and then I kick back, I get kicked back. Nope, it's bleeding into whatever, and I'm like, all right, never mind. I give up.
Hey, I gotta ask, you still got how are the numbers on TikTok? The last time you were on the show, you blew my mind with this
Uh,
monstrous TikTok following you have.
well, I haven't really done a live or a face like an actual video of me talking on TikTok. I've been taking my quotes,
Mhm.
putting like nice backgrounds and throwing them up there. I'm still hanging around 59,200. I dropped like 100 followers, but I'm still hovering around that space. Um, I've been told by because I being having that many followers, TikTok will send me messages. Go live. You can do this, do that, but I don't know what I would do if I went live. To talk to people about, what am I going to run read my book? No, I want you to buy it. But
I
that's
think
why.
I was
Go
to
ahead.
say I you inspired me because after the podcast, I got a hold of Taylor, that's our producer and does
Yeah.
99% of the work and for buying local. And I was like, hey, I'm like, I think we need to be on TikTok. So I'm pretty sure we're on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok.
I think yeah, I think I follow it.
Nice, thank you. Uh
Yeah, and then I started the second TikTok for nostalgia, which I think I got 1,100 followers. And one of the top video I got is Enemy Mine. I did a whole breakdown of Enemy Mine, but I did The Secret of Nim, and that's got like 18,000 views, a bunch of comments. But I did that just for because I love old nostalgia things. And like it's not just movies. I did like Radio Shack. I did a whole thing on that. And they're all a minute 30. Like I just break down movies, Stand By Me, um, Back to the Future, and I do like way Blockbuster Wednesday. I haven't done one in a while with like blockbuster movies. I did What Were They Thinking with the Garbage Pail Kids, the movie. Uh that type of stuff. But
yeah.
again, my mind's still going. And then my big TikTok account, I've been doing I just throw quotes up there. Ones I haven't even published. I just throw them up there. They're starting to track. But it's funny because you have so many followers, but you're only getting like 200, 300, 600 views because of the algorithm. But the algorithm
Yeah.
changes so much that it's like some days I'll get a lot, some days I'll get a little. But I'm constantly getting, hey, do you want this for free from companies? But I think they blind test because I think I already said this. Hair products, women's makeup. Like, no, I don't want it. My others might, but no, I'm good.
That's
Like
funny.
True Classic. I'm wearing a True Classic shirt right now. They sent me free shit. So
Nice. Thanks, True Classic.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Jay, I know we got to wrap it up, but one more time, give the audience the name of the book and where they can find it, and where they can find you on the social media.
Name of the book is Just for Today. Small Words for Heavy Days. Good companion book to bring anywhere if you need just a good pick me up if you're missing somebody. Um, Available on Amazon.com. I didn't do expanded with this because expanded takes a little bit more percentage of what I can make. You can find me on social media. Poet J on Instagram and Facebook. My regular Facebook is Jay Ingleston. TikTok, I'm at Jay Ingleston. And my other one is Nostalgia Time 50. I don't know why they gave me the 50, but that was my handle. I got some book signings in the works. I'm in talks with Whitehall High School about doing a book signing for the Dad Clock, hopefully within the next couple months.
Nice.
And I think that'll be the icing on the cake for that book. I mean, again, the feedback and the sales and the overall take for that book has gone well above and beyond what I would have ever imagined. So, the other books, hopefully the psychological thriller Welcome Home will be out hopefully within the next couple months in
Listen, I'm looking
July.
forward to it. I am. I'm looking
Well,
forward to this.
I'll send you the transcript via email like I did this one.
No, don't do that. I wanna
You
read
want
the
the
book.
actual physical? All right,
I
I'll
do.
wait for that then.
I wanna touch it, feel it. I wanna open the pages and smell it. Uh, but I'm really excited about reading it. You know, I've enjoyed all the books that you've put out so far,
I appreciate it.
and this being so different, I'm really
Yeah,
excited to see. Uh, I'm excited to hear the story, but I'm also just excited to see how you do with it and how
yeah.
it comes out. So I'm pumped.
I just got to let go of my concept of wanting it to be perfect. But I think I'm through that. I just needed a little bit break because, again, people tend to think that, this is a 45-minute to an hour thing a day. And sometimes like I've written for 9 hours straight before. Take a little break to eat, go to the bathroom, sit back down and just let it all out. And then, yeah, it's both cathartic and it can be a pain in the ass, but that's the best. It's the best form of self-torture I think you can give yourself because at the end it's gratification. So I can't
Yeah.
complain. And I'm never
Well,
if I ever complain, you can choke me out.
okay, that's fair. That's probably the only way I could choke you out, Jay. You'd have to let me do it. So, but listen, man, I appreciate you. I love what you're doing. I really enjoy your books. And I appreciate you coming on the show and talking about them, man.
And I appreciate you having me on here and I appreciate our friendship and the support. Can't beat that, man. And having just be able to talk to you and having other people see our conversations and know what's going on and anybody's life is cool to me. I'm always been a podcast fan and it's cool when the podcaster's your friend and you can get down to the nuts and bolts and not have to worry about saying something that you probably shouldn't have said because I feel
That's my whole
comfortable
life,
enough with
brother.
you
That's
that I
my
ain't gotta
whole
worry about
life. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said that.
it.
Damn. Well, it's good to see
Well,
you.
it's good because I
Hopefully,
never felt that way after I left one of these, so we're good on that.
good. Hopefully the next one we can do in person here.
Sounds good, brother.